Okay, there we go. I think we're live. Hey, Shaky SoCal, 2Old4Forza, and it's a brand new season of Thursday Night Thunder. And this is a pretty big, dramatic change from what we raced last season. So we're going from that C class, 73 Ford Falcon XB, muscle car on, you know, very thin bias ply tires with a really wiggly back end, to the complete opposite. We're going to go 2014. I'm going to screw up the whole name of this car, but essentially it is the 2014 Mazda number 70 Speed Source Lola B1280. So I'll probably just call it the Mazda LMP2 or P2, because that's what the class it was in. If I remember historically correctly, this Mazda joined the what eventually turned into uh, calling it IMSA. I think there was that transition year during the merger where it was like the Tudor Sports Car Series or United Sports Car Series. But anyhow, there's a little too much talking. And we're going to spend six weeks driving this fun car around various tracks. So I don't want to spend a lot of time talking. There's going to be plenty of time for me to talk while I drive, which you guys know I can't do. But first race of the season is going to be at Road Atlanta. So as I always do with these track guides, I'm going to go out and run a couple hot laps as I talk a little bit through it. Then I'll do the quote unquote track walk, and do a little bit slower and talk about it because I think we were here. It's like how my short term memory goes. It's like we were here not too long ago. I want to say we were here in the Falcon, but um, you know, the lines are pretty much the same, but this car behaves very differently. But again, I'm talking too much. Let's go out and test drive. Show, don't tell. So, as you guys probably, if you haven't driven the car yet, it is diesel. Not only is it diesel, it's turbo diesel, I believe. So, there's going to be some unique challenges with this car. But it's an LMP2 car, which means it's got massive downforce. And like coming down through the S's, now I'm going a little slow yet, but full throttle all the way down through here, fourth gear, drop to third, going a little wide, still cold tires. So not a lot of rev range to work with, but the danger with this car is going to be in turns like turn 5, 6, yeah, turn 7. This is turn 8. Yeah, so I think the challenge with this car, there's I guess three. The biggest one that I'm probably going to spend the most time talking about is how to get this car through the slower turns that we're going to be in. By slow, I mean slow second gear corners, like turn 7 that I almost spun out on, turn 10A and B here. But then on the flip side is getting in our brains. There's a lot of turns that, for a while that we've been used to not having to lift or brake for. This car, there's a lot of those you're not going to have to do it. You can go foot to the floor all the way through. Still fourth gear all the way down through here. Could shift to fifth if you want. It's not really necessary. This is third. This is the other turn that's going to be a little bit tricky, and that's why. We'll break that down here in a second. Fourth gear, brake at the board, nice turn in, slowly we're back into the throttle. Slow, see if I can do this right this time. A little wide at the apex. Roll back into the throttle, let that turbo spool up and not kick the wheel spin like a jackhammer. As I can't talk and put my words together. Use my words. Down the back straightaway. Again, braking here extremely late. Second gear, that's a little bit late. You can use a lot of curve there. Roll back in, full throttle. You can go all the way over here if you want. You don't necessarily have to. All the way out, fourth gear, foot to the floor, take it right through. So that's going to be the fun thing with this car. So coming down, we'll do the track walk here. Coming down the front straightaway, you're going to be in fourth. You'll get it up to fifth gear. For me, with the braking line, this car, because of the dramatic increase in speed, I'm probably relying on the braking line a little bit more. But in trying to find things to look for, if I can't see the braking line, braking for turn 1, fifth gear, is right about where the grass here kind of parallels up with the line on the left side. So for me in hood view, oh, by the way, little preview, you guys will figure it out. I don't think any of us on the wheel are doing third person, um, but that's what cockpit view looks like. That's what, it's not really, let's see, it's cockpit view, and I think, oh, this is dash view. I really don't see a lot. I'm going to be using hood view. Um, so for me, fifth gear, when I kind of get to grass here on the left where it meets up with the line, it's it's a quick little break down to fourth gear. I'm looking for the green shock on the right side, and then as soon as I can see that curbing, be off the brake and I'll start rolling it in and trying to get to that curbing here. 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to be turning in a little bit earlier than what the line is suggesting, and I may be even kissing the curb a little bit, and it's slightly walking on the edge there because the curbing with the way this car is, it's a little skittish on curbing. Road Atlanta's not too bad. There might be some other tracks where you want to stay off of it, but still fourth gear. This is one of those on my own. I'll be in fourth gear through here. If you're in traffic or you're trying to set up a pass or you may make a mistake, drop it to third. It's not a big deal. Get the car set and get back up the hill and get it back to fourth. So let the car come out probably about mid-track, though. Who knows? I'm going to be all over the place. Up in fourth gear, I'll bring the car all the way to the right so that I'm mostly to the right side of the track by the time I get to, hello, where are you? That corner station there. Be on the left side. Start to turn the car in. What I'm looking for is the curbing here on the left side, and I'm trying to line up. So I'm kind of like pointed mostly this direction. And this is the timing thing for me. Still fourth gear. If I get the line right, just as I get the left side of the tires kind of hitting that curbing, I'm going to kiss that curbing a lot. It is a for me it's a timing. It's a very quick brake just to get a little weight in the front, still in fourth gear, and turn. Because ultimately you can't really see the curbing to the right, to where you're going to be pointed to. At this point, I'm really not even trying to look for other reference points. I just kind of hit this point, it's brake, turn it right, and the second I can then spot, that inside curbing where the apex of that inside curbing is, hopefully if I've done it right, I'll cross over it a little bit and try to be aggressive. The tire barrier and the cone's going to get knocked over. We're going to knock that over in the first lap. But the tire barrier in practice is great because it kind of points to where that apex is. Unfortunately, with race regs on, that's not going to be there. So it is kind of get into a rhythm where you can kind of get the muscle memory of how much you're having to turn in. And if you have to back out of the throttle a little bit, I mean, again, for me, it's quick brake turn and then roll back into the throttle. I actually, for kicks and giggles, I did try it flat. No, I go straight off to the other side. So fourth gear here. Oh, excuse me. Wrong pipe. So fourth gear here. I'm just going to let the car come all the way over the left side. Now this is this is one of the benefits of having a high downforce car is you're carrying enough speed here. Previous cars, we've always had to, for this next sequence here, always had to back the throttle off a little bit, help the car rotate. Not so with this car. As soon as you get past, let's see, it's turn one at the bottom of the hill, up. This is turn two, so three, four, yeah. So this is like turn three and four going down the S's. Fourth gear, foot to the floor, and just hold that down. You can hug the inside. You might bounce out a little bit here, bring it back to the left, down, still full throttle. I might kiss this inside curbing heading down here for turn five. I am using the inside curbing here, and this is another one of those where if the car could handle curbing a little easier, I probably would abuse the inside curbing here on the right side at the apex, setting up because I want to try and brake as straight as I can. I tend to kind of do a straight line from the previous apex to the next one. If you want to bring the car out a little bit more to the left and change the angle to where maybe you're coming in this here, that might work as well. But really, however you set this turn up, right about the time that you hit the apex of the curbing here, it is I'm looking straight for the inside curbing at turn 5 here. It is brake, 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 down to third, release, and then turn the car in. Um, as I was talking about earlier, here, this will be the first time to talk about one of the biggest challenges with this car is going to be with the torque that the car generates. So in testing, what we were finding is um, right about somewhere about 25 to 2700 RPM is when the turbo kind of fully spools up and the boost kicks in, and you get a lot of wheel spin, a lot of torque spike at the back of the car. In most cases where you're in third gear or higher, if you're ever down, it's not that bad. It's like it's not going to spin the car up. But for a slow corner in second gear, where you're not getting all the benefit, all the downforce pushing the car in the pavement, and you're relying more on the mechanical grip of the car, the back end's a little light, and it is easy to spin the tires up. So this one, it's third gear, but this one is a little bit risky as far as getting back to power. So I'll probably, when I come off the brakes and turn the car in, it's going to be kind of similar to the Falcon, where once I get past the apex, I'll start to roll the throttle back in a little bit to start building the RPM up, and in my brain, spin the turbo up so I can kind of control when the boost is going to hit in. But the exit of this of turn 5 here doesn't help you if you don't have a lot of downforce at the back, because it is, you're going to get the initial G-force pinning the nose down as you change elevation, but the exit is kind of cresting up over the hill. So kind of as you get to this point, as you're getting out to the left side, as you're rolling back into the throttle, even in third gear, you may spin the rear tires up a little bit and you may feel the backslide. So just, I say this in your own practice, just kind of file that back in your head of this turn, I might get wheel spin, I might get the back, snappy a little bit. Don't be afraid of it, but just know that it can happen, so that when it starts to do it, you can immediately, again, it's just out of the throttle really quick, little flick of the counter steer, depending how you have your wheel set up, and then roll back in once you get it straight. So um, for the exit in third gear, I will probably use the exit curbing as much as I'm allowed, and use the white line here and straddle it. While I'm talking about this here, I'm going to move this over. I'm going to look at my race time or my current lap and see when does that actually turn. Okay, so I'm over at this point. Let me move back. So the Falcon, just from the way the hood view camera is, obviously if you're straddling the line 9 times out of 10, you're going to be fine. And the Falcon, you could go, let's say if the Falcon was sitting here, I could be, about well, not 2/3, 3/4 of the way across before it would ding me. If you look very, very closely in the hood view, just to the right of the speedometer, just to the left of the map, you'll kind of see like a little white line. That's actually the glass. That's the plexiglass or whatever of the headlamps. So this hood view camera is a little bit further forward. So as far as how far you can cross a line before you're probably going to get dinged to Forza is a lot further. So use that information at your own peril, but you can kind of see how far you can really cross over perspective wise where that line is. So in your practice, if you're routinely just making sure that you're never really straying more than halfway across, then you'll be fine. But just know that you can go probably a little further across the line in this car perspective wise than you maybe are used to from previous cars, just because the camera in hood view is a little bit further forward. So enough about that. First gear, I'm in first gear now. You'll be in third gear up to fourth gear, heading down towards turn 6. And, high downforce car with very good brakes. You're going to be braking. You're going to be braking just before the 100 board. So, and by just before the 100 board, just before it goes out of view. So if when in doubt, you can't see the line, look for, I can't read the numbers at speed. I'm saying it's the 100 board. It's the last, braking board before the turn. That's a good external reference point if you need it. For me, fourth gear, it's down to third. release the brake, turn the car in, get it to apex, start to roll back into the throttle. Again, it's not a light switch, so I'm going to roll back in because I want the boost to kick in gently. You can get a little loose here if you're not careful. Now to turn 7. To me, I think this is going to be for me, this will be the most treacherous turn on the track. Um, if you look on the track map, it's more than 90 degrees. It's the slowest turn for this circuit. The exit, you don't get a lot of help, from the road as far as any kind of banking or anything to help keep the car pinned. You're not getting any aero downforce, so you're relying on the mechanical grip, and you've got to be very, very gentle with your throttle application, and you got to find that balance. It's like you don't want to be so gentle that you're going to be logy out of the corner, but you don't want to be so aggressive that the back end's going to swap. For me, braking for turn 7 is, again, if I'm looking at the braking line, that's fine, but I also do keep an eye on that light pole that's just behind, the kind of the race info there. When I kind of see that going out of view, that's my other reference in my peripheral that I look for. Um, Whoops, first gear, let's go forward, not backward. So brake, brake, brake. As soon as I pass that, I'm braking. I'm looking for the apex. I think in this car, and kind of my habit in general, I tend to try to square this corner up a bit so that I'm not, it is more than 90 degrees. I prefer to get the car rotated as much as I can early so that I can straighten the exit out, especially with this car. The straighter it is on the exit, maybe the more aggressive I can get on the throttle out, the less wheel spin, the less counter steer I have to worry about on the exit. The other thing for braking, this is the other issue I'm still working through. If I don't get my braking right, this is one of those corners. I've had it happen once or twice where I don't get all my braking done and then I release and I turn in and I'm still carrying too much speed and the front just kind of plows and I'm kind of just in here, just the wheels turn, the car is not turning, and I'm going, what just happened? But again, looking for the apex curving, turning in, gonna try and get it to the curving as close as I can. And I I think I'm still so focused on the throttle part of this on the exit. I don't really look for anything specific on the way out. I'm just trying to I just want to get the car through the turn and not spin it out. Um, but as you can kind of see, when you hit the apex, the exit kind of crests over and out. So you're you're relying on the mechanical grip, and the road's not giving you any help. But for me, again, the habit I'm trying to get into with this car is, you know, I'll brake, I'll let off the throttle, roll the car in, get to apex, I'll start to roll back in. It'll be partial throttle. Again, I don't know if the game actually does this. This is my brain kind of making stuff up. Whereas I'm trying to get a little bit of throttle in there to keep the RPMs up, to keep the car accelerating a little bit, but it is trying to get the RPMs. I'm trying to get it up past that 2,500 RPM so that the boost builds up, so that when I finish rolling back in, it's not hitting like a sledgehammer and I spin out. In my own practice, I've looped it twice here, where I'm a little too aggressive getting the power. All of a sudden, the wheel spins up. I still got steering in the dialed in, and the car just and goes off the track. So this is the one. This is the turn more than the rest that you want to be concerned about. But if you get it right, you'll be mostly out of the turn. You'll be full throttle at this point in second gear, up to third, up to fourth. Again, coming up through turn 8, just bring the car to the middle. That's what most of us do. Here, turn 9, apex is there. Keep the car on the right side. And then we're heading down to turns 10A and 10B. So these are also second gear turns. They're a little quicker than turn 7, but you do need to be careful here as well. Braking is incredibly late. It is right about where this line is. I think in the Falcon, we were braking, back. You can kind of see the seam there on the right side of the track directly behind us where it ends. That's about where we were braking with the Falcon last season, or I even think the Honda. But we're now what 5 or 6 car lengths later, and yeah, so it is incredibly late. Down fifth gear all the way down to second. And then uh, I've been again, if I get it right, I'll release the brake, turn the car in. I'm actually going to try and abuse this inside curbing. I won't be on the throttle at all. I might put a little in, maybe very brief in second gear up to full throttle, then right back out to turn in here. This is the other one. You got to be careful as you get back to throttle. You might, about here, if you're too aggressive, you might feel the rear tires spin up and the cars start to slide. Just it's really just the habit as far as it's just out of the throttle really quick, flick the steering the other way, and then roll, straighten it out and roll back in if you can catch it in time. It's not a, when the back end steps out, it's not violent. It's not like uber snappy. Let's say like the F1 car was or the Renault if you weren't careful, but it won't give you a lot of warning. It certainly doesn't give you the warning that the Falcon did. Second gear, third gear, fourth gear, um, and a lot of other cars. You know, you'll want to, depending on downforce levels and like that. It's like, hey, you want to get all the way as far over to the right as you can, not right, all the way over to the left as you can for the right turn, to kind of open it up, and then you're feathering the throttle. This car, no, it's you've got massive downforce. You can just floor it. If you want to go out and straddle the outside line, you can do that. If you want to keep it in the middle, you can probably do that. The fourth gear, just look for that inside apex. Just turn the car in. So much downforce, no wheel spin, no drama, and you're across the line. So that is Road Atlanta in this Mazda Skyactiv diesel. So with that, I'm gonna kind of stop the track guide and let's actually do a mock race and see what this car does when I actually try to stitch some fast laps together. Let's go ahead and finish the test drive. All right, so for this season, we are now back since we are in essentially a P class LMP2 prototype. It is single race weekends, single race Thursday nights. So one long, approximately, I think the target time is about a 75-minute race. There'll be two mandatory quick stops, but there's no restriction on when you take them. Other tidbits with this car, at least for me, I think it is possible to easily go half distance in this car without worrying about fuel or tire wear. I think you'll be, at least for me, I think I can be under, excuse me, 50% before half distance. But um, I'm going to do, for sake of stream and for sake of time, I'm just going to do what I think is half distance. I'm going to do 28 laps. So don't be like, oh my God, 28 laps. Well, kind of keep in mind this car, we're going to be clocking laps here in roughly between a minute 15, minute 20, depending on the bucket you're in. So they're going to go quick. Um, so again, the full race distance might be 56 laps. We'll see. I think part of this for me as well is not only am I doing track guide stuff for you guys, it's how I practice, and it helps validate race length with Matt for Thursday. So we'll see when I come out of this race what the timing looks like, and then I can speculate. But then I usually just feed this info to Matt, and then he'll make up his own mind as far as what he actually wants to do. But okay, let's go ahead and start race because again, I'm talking too much and not doing enough driving. So for opponents, again, with I'm trying to for free play, I have to kind of pick different divisions for different buckets. Starting up front is the same class that's the Forza P2 class that this car is in. This car is not homologated for that division, so I'm a little bit quicker, a little bit more horsepower. They got a 30-second head start. Starting behind them is the Forza P1 class. They're definitely, I think, just the way things work out and the way the driver tar difficulty and like that, I think I'm still a smidgen quicker than the Forza P1s. The problem is that we make our speed very differently. They're going to have straight line on me very easily, which here is going to be a big factor. But I kind of kill them when it comes under braking and turning. And then starting 5 seconds in front of me is the IndyCar division. So it looks like I got two 2017s there. Who's to my right? Yep. So I got James Hinchcliffe, Scott Dixon, and that's probably Will Power's car there in front of me. But with that, away we go. I got to work on how to start that thing. And so cold tires, so I'm going to do cold tires. I'm going to go in third gear. Certainly not going as fast as I'll be going the next time around. Fourth gear. That's a little bit late. I love downforce. Backed off a little bit so that I could get the car straightened out. Don't spin out, don't spin out, don't spin out. I'm probably going to do it sometime during the if I don't do it during this stream, it'll probably happen during the race. Just a little bit. I love downforce. That would be a big time penalty there. Cut it a little too much. I was looking back through the previous cars to kind of get an idea of like, there's that wheel spin. When's the last time we raced a really, full-on aero prototype-ish kind of car? Actually, it wasn't as far back as I thought. The last one was the Radical RXC. I kind of say that's kind of borderline. It's not full-on race car, but it certainly can't talk and drive. I mean, it certainly is kind of a prototype. It's got downforce, and I think it makes like about 2,000 pounds of downforce at top speed. But past that, you got to go all the way back to the Renault F1 car. Was the last aero like uber high downforce car that we raced, and then before that, like 2 seasons before that, was the 787B, and that's kind of back to, I think that was TNT 24. So quite a while since we've been in this kind of car. I think we've spent most of our time more in GT sports cars that, while they have downforce, certainly not to this degree. I'm not going to have any problems catching the P2 cars. It's just a question of how long till I start catching the P1 cars, and can I go quick enough and navigate traffic well enough to leapfrog the Indy cars. As far as wheel settings, I've posted it, I've said it, various streams in the past. For the Logitech wheel, I've got rotation, as far as the basics. Rotation set at 540. I'm a creature of habit. It seems to be what works best for me, and I'm one of those that I won't change that unless I absolutely have to. The tune, as far as the available tunes for the series, I'm running the 200 brake pressure. And for the other major adjustment I made on the brakes is, again, my inside-outside settings for the braking is 0 and then 85%, as I miss shifts because I can't talk and drive at the same time. Because I like, I don't want to really have to jam the brakes to get the car to stop. But the flip side of that is if I'm not careful, I can get them to lock. I didn't catch them at the right time. So this is going to be the fun part because the AI is really slow here. Excuse me. And they're really slow there. And they're going to be slow in the next couple of corners. But hopefully, I think this thing for me is just trying to get. I wish they were just a little bit quicker where I could time the runs out of the corner. Then I think this is where I get, even though I've got a little more horsepower, because this car isn't homologated, it's probably running higher downforce as I do a little pruett fade and protect the position. One place I can definitely get them is out of the last turn because they're really slow there and I can get a really big run and it's easy to get alongside. Excuse me. Ah! I didn't time that well. I get a little run. No, I'm not close enough. I mean, my other comment is, yeah, as you're practicing and driving the car, if you're really struggling with the wheel spin and trying to figure out how to get the throttle applied and not spin the car out, not spin at the wheels, not spin out, go ahead and throw traction control on. I mean, there's no shame in doing it. You want to get the assists that work best for you to be able to run quick and consistent laps. Because the whole idea is we're out to have fun. Well, that's a big run. That was good. Nice thing the AI is consistent in their slowness. You just hear that little bit of wheel slide there. That's about as good as I can take that. And while I'm on the back stretch here, let's get damage out. try and do a kind of a check on fuel and tires at the end of lap 10, just to kind of get an idea of just, again, it's not something I was ever paying much attention to, but it's like I didn't notice anything like, oh my God, the tires are going to be worn to, worn out in 5 laps. I think we'll be good on tire wear and fuel. I mean, it is an endurance racing car, so. Oh, that was still clean? Wow. A little early on the brakes. I was a little off there. B2, be quick enough not to dirty my lap. This is a good one. Oh, thank you. Very kind. 14-0. God, that's so fast. I was like, oh, I'm going to check fuel and tire after lap 10. And I just remembered that as I'm finishing lap 11. Well, oh well. Alright, so we're going to pit about, well, not about, we're going to pit at the end of lap 14. Again, for these, I was just like pitting halfway through. Caught the Indy cars. Oh, something else I noticed with this car, a couple of times where I've gotten surprised and run in the back of somebody. Be careful how much steering you have dialed in, because again, the back end is very light. Sometimes that's enough. You can get yourself into trouble that way. there, but I'm mostly because I'm watching this cluster in front of me. Whoa. Going on the outside. Ah! Why we practice? Almost made that work. It's a little late. Let's try the outside move again. Nope, I'm not. We'll go this way. This is getting real sketchy. Back off a little bit and see if I can get the run down the next corner. Move back left, please. Move left. Thank you. That's the other thing with this car. Excuse me. Oh, that. Oh, there we go. See that? That didn't get the braking done. Again, high downforce car, very short braking zones, which means passing is not. It's not going to be easy. I would always say focus on getting the better run out of the corner so that you're at least. I mean, the ideal scenario is that you're side by side as you get the braking, but if you're starting that overlap and we're communicating on chat, that'll help get, help passing a bit. But hopefully nobody's going to try and dive bomb. It's hard for me to judge what it's going to be like against the AI, just because the AI don't race like we do. Remember I said I was going to pit at the end of lap 14? Where are we? So I'm about a quarter of the way through. Let's just say in theory I'm about a quarter of the way through what we think the race distance will be. Haven't even used 30% of the fuel yet. And just not even 20% of the tire. So, your wear may vary, your mileage may vary, but yeah, I'm with it. Okay, pit, box. So cresting the hill, just a real quick let off the throttle turn, floor it. All right. Nice long pit lane, so go ahead and get a drink. And we'll see, time on pit is 45-50 seconds. Now let's see what happens when we get out of the pits. Going first. Yeah, you'll be in second. Oh, pit lane exit's going to be fun. Yeah, so second, but you'll be pointing in the right direction, right on the racing line, and stay to the inside. I'll stay to the outside. All right, so 18th. I have no idea who has to pit in front of me. Let's see where we end up. I mean, looks like the Indy cars are just coming out. Can I beat them out? Or did the haha, yeah. Saying the ideal scenario is I know I'm quicker than the P2, P1 cars that started in front of me. I'm not quicker than the Indy cars. So for a mock race like this, you know, I'm mainly looking at, you know, if I can finish fourth is, you know, fourth would be, hey, I'm finishing ahead of the AI, except for the Indy cars, which are definitely quicker than I am. So it's bonus if I can get on the podium. With as fast as those Indy cars are, just put it in the middle. Yeah, where you gotta go? Yeah, go to the outside. And again, the other thing in practice too is practice some of these turns offline. You know, as if you're trying to make a pass or trying to defend a pass. Oh, I was trying to leave you room. And the operative word, trying. Ooh. There's that wheel spin. You just kind of have to know it's there. Lurking. Ready to spin you out at a moment's notice. That was a dive bomb, I know. I had to try it. Something I can something I can only do on the AI. Laps to go. Ooh, big run. Thank you, Ford P2. that was enough. That was a better pass. Much nicer of me. And that's going too wide. I'm just kind of keeping tabs on the map to see if I can see where the other Indy cars are at. Because my strategy right now is I want to try and get through this traffic as fast as I can to put as many cars as possible. Oh, okay, that answers my one question. There's a second Indy car. Going to beat him out. So right now, my strategy is I need to get through traffic as fast as I can. And that's... Yep, unsafe rejoin. Who cares? It's AI. So remember what I said earlier about you got to be careful if you get in the back of somebody, you got any kind of steering angle in, you get to the brakes, it's going to get the back really light. That's how I know. So, okay, my job just got a whole lot harder because I have both Indy cars right behind me. I don't think there's any way I'm going to hold off Will Power's Indy car on the back straight here, especially when I miss a shift. So I don't want to do blatant blocking. I just want to do subtle enough to ow. I just got bumped. He just tried to bump and run me. Shake and bake. I do have limit driver aggression turned off, so I guess that's to be expected. Ooh, big time penalty. Way too early in the turn. So Will's coming. Just keep it in the middle. Well, I'm going to cheat a little bit to the racing line just to make him think about it. I got a P1 and P2 wrestling in front of me. That's what he fits. Or no, he's not. He checked up a lot there. If I was smarter on that one, I would have backed off to get the run up the hill. But let's see you, Mr. Audi. I'm just gonna... What side do you want? I think I need to be a little bit, use a little less of that inside curbing there, because I think that'll help keep the wheel spin in check. I think the Indy cars have cleared the P1. So, say goodbye to sixth place. There's the third Indy car. I'm going to beat him out too. Well, maybe not. Nope, he got out just ahead of me. Which means if I hadn't spun it, okay, so we're six. We're going to have 2 laps here. Again, under braking, be careful about getting in the back of people. No. You're not going to pass. I need you to block the Indy cars behind you. So I got 2 Indy cars behind me that are going to be all over me in the next lap or so. I've got one in front of me that I might have a shot at passing if he gets caught in traffic with the P1s in front of us, and I can catch up to them before he clears the P1. Didn't get the braking done, pushing a little bit. I'm not going to do that in 4th gear. So that is Road Atlanta in this Mazda Skyactiv diesel Lola B12/80. Um, so let's see, 3717. So let's say just double that here. I'm going to try and do math in my head, which I can't do. So let's 7, 7, 14, 3, so 74. Yeah, okay. So yeah, 28 laps, 28 times 2, 56. Yes, I graduated from high school. So yeah, we're probably looking at about 56 laps for the race on Thursday. So long race, roughly 75-minute, two quick stops that you can take anytime you want. And there's no fuel or tire considerations. That's going to really, well, there are fuel and tire considerations. Certainly, you could try and go really long on your opening stint, and then do your quick stops late. But I think the endurance nature of this car and the fact that the tires are going to last a while, the fuel's going to last a while. Um, you can use your quick stops a little more strategically. So with that, I'm going to call it a night. Again, quick slap 113.9. There's a couple more tenths out there, I think, that I was picking up and throwing away. So it's going to be a fast race. Anyhow, hope you guys that are meeting up this weekend for Cinco de Mayo and having a little 2Old4Forza TNT get together, hope you guys had a great time. And with that, if I don't talk to you guys at all this weekend, we'll see you sometime next week and definitely on Thursday. So, hope you guys have a good evening and happy racing.